Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive problem that's kind of hiding in plain sight at some of the world's biggest companies. We're talking about billions of lines of legacy code, and, maybe for the first time, how AI is providing a real way out.
Okay, let's kick things off with a number that probably keeps a lot of CFOs up at night. $5 million. For so many large companies, that's what it costs per year just to keep the lights on for their old mainframe systems. And that's not for anything new or innovative. That's literally just the price of standing still.
And look, this isn't some static problem that's just sitting there. It's getting worse. Those mainframe costs, they're going up by about 12% every single year. But the real kicker is the talent cliff we're about to fall off of. By 2027, the generation of programmers who actually understand this code, they're retiring. It's a full-on ticking time bomb.
So all this creates what we're calling the $25 million trap. You're stuck, right? You can either keep bleeding millions to maintain this ancient system, or you can bet tens of millions on a super risky, super complex migration project. Neither of those options sounds very good, does it?
So, what's really at the heart of all this? Well, it's the fact that the actual rules that run your business, we're talking decades of priceless knowledge, it's all locked away inside this old, undocumented code. Code written in languages like COBOL that most modern developers, they can't even read it.
So the old way of getting out of this mess, a full manual rewrite, is just a monster of a project. I mean, we are talking about something that can eat up half a decade and burn through tens of millions of dollars. And all the while, you're putting the very core of your company's operations at risk.
And that really leads us to a critical question, right? Why have these big rewrite projects, the old fixes, failed so often and so spectacularly in the past? Well, the most popular strategy has always been this big bang migration. The idea is you replace the entire system all at once. It's an incredibly high-stakes move. Think about it. It is literally like trying to perform open-heart surgery on your entire business's IT infrastructure. What could possibly go wrong? And this visual just lays the risk bare. A staggering 60%, 60, of these all-or-nothing projects just fail. They blow through the budget, they take way too long, or they just plain don't work, leaving the business in an even worse spot than where they started. It's terrifying.
But what if I told you there's a way to avoid that surgery altogether? This is where the script totally flips. A new generation of AI is completely rewriting the rules of the modernization game.
Now you might be thinking, great, can I just dump 10,000 lines of COBOL into ChatGPT and call it a day? And yeah, the answer to that is a big, fat no. Those public tools, they just don't have the context or the sheer power to handle these massive, complex enterprise systems.
The reality, as you might guess, is way more sophisticated than that. Real AI-powered modernization uses these specialized AI agents, and they're all managed by powerful orchestration frameworks. It's kind of like having a conductor leading an entire orchestra of AIs, where each one has a very specific job to do.
So what's the sheet music for this AI orchestra? It's something called a COBOL migration prompt. And these aren't just simple one-line questions. Think of them as incredibly detailed blueprints, highly structured instructions that guide the AIs through every step, understanding the old code, documenting it, and then finally translating it.
Okay, so now that we have this AI orchestra, we can finally use a much smarter strategy, one that completely avoids that risky Big Bang approach we talked about.
It's called the strangler fig pattern. It's actually named after a plant that slowly grows around and eventually replaces a host tree. And just like the plant, the idea is you don't rip everything out at once. Instead, you use AI to slowly, piece by piece, rewrite small parts of the old system and replace them with new, modern services. It's a series of small, controlled steps instead of one giant, dangerous leap.
What's really cool is how this breaks down the AI's job into 3 really clear stages. So first, in stage 1, the AI is basically a business analyst. It just reads the code to figure out and document what it does. Then, in stage 2, it becomes an architect, planning out the new design. It's only in that final third stage that it actually does the translation from, say, COBOL to Java.
And the beauty of this step-by-step approach, the payoff is almost immediate. By just targeting one single piece of the old system, companies are seeing a 40% reduction in their mainframe processing costs. That's what's known as MIPS. You start getting a return on your investment right away.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how are companies actually doing this?
let's get practical and look at the actual toolkit that's making this whole AI strategy a reality for businesses right now.
And this isn't some far-off future tech. The major players have already built enterprise-grade platforms specifically for this. You've got IBM's Watson X, which is all about high-accuracy translation. You've got Microsoft's Semantic Kernel, which is that conductor that manages the whole process. And then there's AWS Blue Age, which gives you a full suite for refactoring everything into a modern, cloud-native format.
Okay, but let's be real. The million-dollar question, or maybe the $25 million question, is this. How do you prove the new AI-written code actually works? You have to be 100% sure it does exactly what the old code did. Well, the answer is a whole new field called automated functional equivalence testing, where AI actually helps verify its own work.
And the money you save here? It's just staggering. When you compare it to the huge manual effort of traditional QA, using these AI-native tools to test the new code can slash your quality assurance costs by an unbelievable 86%.
So here's the big idea I want to leave you with. We have to completely change how we think about this old code. It's not a liability. It's not technical debt. It's a priceless asset. It is a blueprint that contains 40 years of your company's secret sauce, its core business logic. And with AI, for the very first time, we finally have the key to unlock that blueprint and build the future. So the only question left is, are you ready to read it?